Hey y'all. So today I want to talk about the need to stay informed. Right now we are in the aftermath phase of a terrorist attack. As such, the American people have a lot of questions. And for good or ill, there are a lot of people who are willing to posit answers. And we need to be really, really careful that we don't rally around the quickest or the most convenient or the most plausible sounding answer. A good example of this is actually a statement from the FBI that was released today, saying that they are recanting a previous report that they had put out, that it was the operational goal of the insurrection to kidnap or assassinate key members of Congress. Now, this doesn't mean that the FBI was lying. It doesn't mean that they were bad at their job. They were reporting based on a statement that they got from one of the insurrection's key actors, Jake Angeli, the QAnon shaman guy with the buffalo hat and the face paint. It was only later, after they had interviewed other people, that they realized that this wasn't necessarily the overall operational goal of the insurrection. In fact, we still don't know what the overall operational goal is, or if they just ran out of steam. And we might not ever know. Which brings me to my point. After a crisis like this, people want to know what the hell happened. People want to know the who's, the what's, the whens, the where's, the hows. But most importantly, they want to know the whys. The why, and even the more logistical questions, probably won't be answered for another year. There's so much information to unpack. And the questions that get answered are probably going to open up more questions. So I guess what I'm trying to say is be patient. There's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack. And we need to make sure that the information that we're receiving is valid. And when I say valid, I don't mean that it's it's honest or dishonest. What I mean by that is that it is as factual as possible, and it's as objective as possible, and it is as free of speculation as possible. Because what I've been seeing on the news a lot is a lack of hard evidence and a lack of hard answers, but still this very nebulous environment of questions that need to get answered with something. And so you'll have a lot of subject matter experts on who will speculate. What do we know? We know that there was a rally planned for the 6th. We know that there was chatter on sites such as Parler and the Donald.win that were calling for potential violence. We know that Donald Trump had been pushing inflammatory rhetoric. We know that some of Donald Trump's associates, as well as Donald Trump, were fanning the flames. We know that there were people who went to this rally for the purpose of storming the Capitol. We know that there were people who were there to do more than break shit. We know this based on correspondence. We know this based on forum posts from these people. We know this based on Twitter posts, based on Facebook posts, things like that. But even then, we're still walking a tightrope over a lake of speculation. And we have to be really, really careful. All of this is to say that we're probably not going to know what happened. Like, we're not going to have those big questions truly and objectively answered for probably at least a few months, maybe even a year. Another event comes to mind when looking at the aftermath of the insurrection, and that's 9/11. After 9/11, there was this cacophony of questions. So many questions from so many people. And there were quite a few people who were ready to give an answer. Whether or not that answer was 100% valid or not, or whether or not that answer was grounded in all of the facts. People needed answers. And I'm not blaming people for needing answers to a tragedy like this, just like I'm not blaming people for needing answers right now. But it wasn't until 2004, about 3 years, almost 3 years after the attack, that we actually got the 9/11 Commission report. That we actually were able to look at a set of hard data, hard facts. You're looking at a long time before we'll really be able to process this. In fact, we're still in the phase of preparing for a secondary attack. We might not know the full extent of all of this for a while, and that's okay. The outlets that I trust are Reuters, Associated Press. Those two, they're both very, very centered. They're both middle of the road. They deliver objective facts, and I'd say probably about 70% of all their articles are links to sources, which is really important. I would be careful with, going to places like the Donald.win right now. only because there's a lot there. And you have to sift through a lot of just rhetoric. Washington Post is another really, really good source that does lean a little bit to the left, but is also very very grounded in reality. Yeah. There are really good outlets out there that do good reporting, and they still get it wrong. And that's okay, because that's where we are right now. So view every bit of information that you see regarding the insurrection as something that is subject to change. Because it is. And take care of yourself. Step away from the news for a little bit, because there's a lot going on, and your mental and emotional well-being is more important than your need to stay informed. So if you find yourself just constantly anxious while watching or looking at the news, turn the news off for a little bit. Get rid of your push notifications for a little bit when it comes to news, and just take a day to just breathe. And that's okay. Y'all have a good one. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Wear your mask. And, we'll get through this.